Number 4 on our list. It was a pretty
Oh,
our Scorsese list was pretty high. So
yeah, no, Role Models was right up there with Gangs of New York, I think.
dude,
Hey, well, welcome back to the pod.
yeah, a little technical difficulty, but we got it squared away. So
Technical difficulty. Zach's
again, for
new.
the
Zach's
8,000th
new to
time.
technology, so we're bringing it back here. So,
Mm-hmm.
to recap, we are doing Steven Spielberg, one of the most prolific directors of Zach and I's generation, and maybe top 5 directors of all time. He does have a lot of movies. So forgive us if we left off your favorite Steven Spielberg movie. But again, as we always say, this is our list. This is our podcast. If you want to change something, make your own goddamn podcast.
Dude, this list is pretty solid. Let's be
This
honest.
list,
It's a
I
solid.
think we're pretty good. So again, we're gonna each introduce the 5 movies that we picked, and then we will ultimately dive into the rankings and the debate. I think this is going to be a good one here.
And yeah, and before we dig into it, I'm just gonna say that this episode is gonna be the next episodes that gets released, and after that, the Epics Pod. I'm just giving everybody
Okay.
heads up that you can barely hear me on that fucking episode, so you're gonna have to turn the volume up when you listen to it. So
Turn Zach up, turn me down.
yeah, they do that every episode.
I'm at 100 all the time. That's how I do the podcast. Zach likes to play it at 50%, and then maybe he'll come up to like 78 at times. But
Yeah, depending on if we talk about sequels, yeah, that'll get me going. But
if we could talk about Super Troopers, that'd be great. Or if we could talk about Martin Scorsese, I'll go off for an hour.
yeah, you will.
I mean, we could do After Hours again if you want.
You didn't talk too much about that one when we did the
I
Scorsese
know.
one.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
color
So
money different. Yeah.
Color Money, a little, yeah, I went a little. Okay, that's not a sequel. Okay, so the first movie on my list, because I believe Zach, you went first last time.
Yeah.
So the first movie on my list for Steven Spielberg is the not an epic, but one of the childhood movies that we left off of our childhood
Mhm.
movies is E.T. Extraterrestrial, which debuted in 1982. I think we can forego the who directed these movies
Right.
because they're all directed by Steven Spielberg, and to list his movies would take an hour. Plus, we're going to go through 9 others. So it was written by a woman named Melissa Matheson, which I'd never heard of, but she also did one of my childhood favorites, Indian in the Cupboard, which would probably be renamed in today's world, and then also one of the 20, I think, teen movies called BFG, which I thought stood for Big Fucking Giant, but apparently wasn't. And I was shunned out of the movie theater. E.T. was starring Henry Thomas as the young man who discovers E.T., and also a very young Drew Barrymore, Peter Coyote or Peter Coyote, I don't know, Dee Wallace. But also, just a little note here, Henry Thomas, the young kid who plays, I believe, Michael, or maybe Michael is his brother. The young kid who stars in the movie is also Johnny from Gangs of New York, which we just brought up recently in our Gangs of New York pod, which I thought was a not
Oh
any
shit,
sort.
that was him.
It is
Fuck.
him, right? He's 30 years older, and you don't recognize him, but he does play a little squirrely, little half silent, almost a child in that movie as well. E.T. is about a child is stumbled upon by an extraterrestrial being and forms an emotional and telepathic bond with this child and extraterrestrial. It did win 4 Oscars. With
Shit, I didn't
for
know one that much. Yeah. Didn't know one that many.
It won for best sound, best visual effects, best sound effects, and of course John Williams for best music. And Roger Ebert gave it 4 stars, saying, "This movie made my heart glad. It is filled with innocence, hope, and good cheer. It is also wickedly funny and exciting as hell." And Roger Ebert does not use that very lightly. Said E.T. Extraterrestrial is a movie like quote unquote Wizard of Oz that you can grow old with and grow young with. It won't let you down. It tells a story about friendship and love. Some people are baffled when they hear it described, but that makes it sound like a cross between a thing and National Velvet. It works as science fiction. It's sometimes scary as a monster movie, but at the end, when the lights go up, there's not a dry eye in the house. So, a glowing review by Roger Ebert, 4 stars, and we're going to talk about ET at length, I think, in this pod.
Oh, you think so? We'll see.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not. I guess. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah. Okay, the first on my list is called Close Encounters of the Third Kind from 1977. Original screenplay was written by Steven Spielberg himself. A lot of people wrote different drafts and assisted with the script and screenplay, including Hal Barwood, Jerry Belson, John Hill, and Matthew Robbins, and that's per IMDb. That's where I got that information from.
I was going to say, I think it was kind of tossed around Hollywood for a while before it was
Yeah,
actually made.
indeed, indeed. But it's starring Richard Dreyfuss from Jaws. We'll talk about that later.
Yes,
Melinda
sir.
Dillon from A Christmas Story. The French director Francois Truffaut, the acclaimed director of the foreign coming of age film 400 Blows. And little Gary Guffey plays the little boy Brad. And it's
Oh,
about, yeah. And I know, what the hell was I thinking? Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
think,
I have no
yeah.
idea what you're thinking ever.
I know Kubrick liked his performance a lot in this movie, so he wanted to use him for The Shining. But I think something I can't remember
For the
what
Jack part?
happened. Yeah, for the little boy. Yeah, but yeah, something happened
Or
where he couldn't
for
do
the,
it.
yeah, not Jack.
Red rum, red rum.
Yeah. Wow, that would have been interesting.
Hmm. But it's about an electrician who becomes obsessed with a mountainous monument once he witnesses the arrival of the third kind.
Hmm.
British film critic David Thompson wrote that Close Encounters had a flawless wonder that it might be the first film ever made, calling it a tribute to the richness of human imagination and as close to a mystical experience as a major film has come. But it's the mysticism of common sense. The movie could have been naive and sentimental, as it would be inspired by Disney, but Spielberg never relinquishes his practicality and his eye for everyday detail. Yeah, and yeah, Pauline Kael was a pretty big fan of David Thompson's reviews.
Oh, Pauline Kael, really? I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's given credit to another critic. I don't know if I've ever heard her praise anything really. So,
Yeah, I don't think she praised anything ever.
except Night of the Living Dead for some odd reason. But
Jesus Christ. Not a fan of Pauline Kael. You know this.
no, I do know. I do know. You're next, Jaaron.
So next on my list is going to be. Sorry, you hear my paper shuffling here. Let me
It's okay. It's okay. You heard the
get to
mower
my.
go by my place, so it's all right.
Well, next is kind of a not a cult classic, but definitely one of my favorite like rewatchable movies. If I just need something to happy go lucky, and something that I love is Catch Me If You Can, debuting in 2002. Obviously, directed by Steven Spielberg, was written by the titular character, not titular, because Catch Me If You Can doesn't say Frank Abagnale Jr., uh, but it was based upon the book written by Frank Abagnale Jr. and Stan Redding, who also wrote a book about Frank Abagnale's adventures, and also the screenplay by Jeff Nathanson, who also did the screenplay for Speed 2, Rush Hour 2 and 3, The Terminal, also starring Tom Hanks, and Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man Tell No Tales. The movie stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks, Christopher Walken, Martin Sheen, Amy Adams, James Brolin, Jennifer Gardner, Elizabeth Banks, Ellen Pompeo. I could go on and on. This is a cameo classic here. The movie is about a runaway teenager becomes a professional con artist, forger, and counterfeiter, and leads the FBI on a several years long cat and mouse chase. Sorry about that. The movie
All good.
won. The movie was only nominated for 2 Oscars. Best music. Again, we're going to mention John Williams a lot in this pod because Steven Spielberg loves John Williams. And then the other nomination was for supporting actor for Christopher Walken, which kind of surprised me, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's not in the movie too much. I didn't really think he did very well in the movie. He just plays not even a distraught father, but kind of a detached father in the movie. We'll get into more of this when we talk about the movie and where we're having it in our rankings. Roger Ebert, though, he did give it 3 stars and quote saying, "This is not a major Spielberg film, although it is an effortlessly watchable one." Spielberg and his writer Jeff Nathanson, who I just mentioned, don't force matters or plumb for deep significance. The story is a good story, directly told, and such meaning has as it comes from the irony that the only person who completely appreciates Abagnale's accomplishments is the man trying to arrest him, which would be Tom Hanks's character. He does go on to say, it is a fantastical movie. There are parts of it which may be embellished a little bit. You can research this on your own. There's been many stories, many books, many articles written about if Frank Abagnale actually did all this as a teenager or not. But Roger Ebert found it very exciting, and I find it continuously entertaining every time I watch it.
Oh, it is. It is. It's a good one. Next on my list is Munich from 2005. It's based on a book called Vengeance by George Jonas. One screenplay draft was written by Academy Award winning screenwriter Eric Roth. He won his Oscar for Forrest Gump. And the other draft was written by Tony Kushner, who's kind of become Spielberg's go to screenwriter after this movie. He wrote screenplays for Lincoln, West Side Story, and The Fablemans. It's starring Eric Bana, fresh off his Hulk movie and Troy. Daniel Craig, no. Yeah, Daniel Craig,
Daniel
who,
Craig, that's James
yes,
Bond, Zach.
yes,
Put some
he is.
respect on it.
Who I wrote in my notes became the next James Bond. Marie Jose Cruz. I think it's, you might have to help me out. Saran Hines. I can't remember. I don't know how to say his name. But, and also,
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one.
yeah, Joffrey Rush as well. Academy Award winner, Joffrey Rush, who, shit, what? Oh, he won it for Shine in like 1996 or something. But and it's about an officially unofficial group of Israeli agents tasked with eliminating the terrorists responsible for the Munich Olympic massacre. And in the writing from Empire magazine, Ian Nathan wrote, Munich is Steven Spielberg's most difficult film. It arrives already inflamed by controversy. This is Spielberg operating at his peak, an exemplary made provocative and vital film of our time. And your boy Roger gave it very positive review as well, ranking Munich the third best film of 2005.
Goddamn right, Raj.
Mm-hmm. Your boy Raj.
He is my boy. What about Oscars? Did they win any? Did they were
It did
nominated?
not. I think it was nominated for five, I think, but it didn't win any. So
Of course. Isn't it sad? I tell you what, the Academy. I think I should be a part of the Academy. Honestly, I think I'd do it some justice.
I think
I'd put some things in there that they didn't that they overlook just because they're influenced by money. I'm not
yeah.
influenced. You can't buy me, people. Okay, I can't be bought. I'm gonna tell you
Okay.
what movie is good and what movie is not.
Oh, Jaaron, you're so full of crap, dude.
I'm so full of life. Are you kidding me? Okay. Well, the next movie on my list is the classic, maybe Spielberg's number one. We'll see later in this podcast. It is released in 1975. Everyone knows it. It's why I didn't swim for years. The movie is Jaws. Obviously directed by Steven Spielberg. It was written by the original novel was written by Peter Benchley, but Carl Gottlieb did the screenplay, who also did Jaws 2, which for any rewatchables fans out there, we have to mention rewatchables every now and again, is beloved by the rewatchables guys, not so much by Steven Spielberg. And then Carl Gottlieb also wrote The Jerk and The Jerk, comma 2, which I have not seen.
I haven't seen that either. It's the Steve Martin movie, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
which I've
thought.
heard is funny, but I've not watched it. The movie Jaws stars Roy Scheider, who was also in French Connection, which we've also covered on this podcast before, and the movie Clute, which I've never seen, but I would go on a limb and say, Zach, you've definitely seen Clute.
Clute. No, I
Wow.
haven't actually.
Okay.
I
All
have.
right. Fuck me,
I've
I
seen
guess.
Sleuth, but yeah, I've never seen Clute.
Yeah. Well, I've
No.
seen Wizard of Oz.
Mm,
It also stars Robert Shaw, who is a big part of the Sting, which we also covered in a previous pod. It also stars Richard Dreyfuss and Lorraine Gary. Richard Dreyfuss, who was just previously mentioned for Close Encounters of the Third Time, also Mr. Holland's Opus, and actually Roy Scheider, I forgot to mention, was in the movie Marathon Man, which is a extremely entertaining movie.
yeah, he's not in it for very long though, right?
No, no, no. It's, and we're going to talk about diamonds later in a different podcast, but we'll save that for later.
Sure.
Jaws is about, if you don't know already, a small island town called Amity is terrorized by a 25-foot long great white shark, while Chief Brody recruits an oceanographer and local fishermen to avenge the lives of the children that the shark took. Roger Ebert gave this movie 4 stars, unsurprisingly, writing, "It is a sensationally effective action picture, a scary thriller that works all the better because it's populated with characters that have been developed into human beings that we get to know and care about," which is a big thing for Zach and I, to actually care about the characters. When you're writing a movie, when you're developing a movie, when you're watching a movie, if you dive right into the action and you have nothing to know about these characters' backgrounds, who they are, what their emotions are about different things, it's kind of hard to care about the characters, which kind of takes you out of the movie. And then it's just a popcorn thriller.
That
Um,
is right.
so he also goes on to say it's a film that's as frightening as The Exorcist, and yet it's a nicer kind of fright, somehow more fun because we're being scared by an outdoor adventure saga instead of a brimstone and vomit devil, which I thought was an interesting piece because I know how much you love The Exorcist, Zach.
I do. I do love that movie. One of the greats, in my opinion.
Well, we covered that on the horror pod. So if you folks want to hear about Zach's opinions on The Exorcist and mine, go listen to our horror pod
I
because
like how
we
you
differ just a little
die.
bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Jaws did
That's
win 3 Oscars for Best Sound, Best Film Editing, and again, Best Music by none other than John Williams.
yeah. It's
It's a
one
banger.
of yeah
I
one
mean,
of the best
honestly,
movies ever.
Jaws is Jaws is
Has
one of the movies I can put on any time of year, any time of day, whether I'm feeling sad or I'm feeling happy, whether I'm feeling like I want to be scared. I mean, it literally covers everything. Jaws
yeah
is such a fantastic movie. 1975 still holds up 50 years later.
yeah it is still one of my favorites. It was I think it was the first Spielberg movie I ever saw was Jaws, and I was like 10. It was awesome. I became obsessed with
Wow,
it after that. Yeah. So
10. That's a
I
gr-
think
that's actually a really great age to watch that movie.
yeah. Well, whatever.
No, I know. I mean, growing up in landlocked Nebraska, like we had no fear, right? Like, oh yeah,
Right.
these sharks are just eating people and wreaking havoc. We don't have any concern about that.
If you've been to the beach at night, I mean, you can't help but think about Jaws every time you're there.
Yeah.
It's kind of a creepy time, You don't know what's in them.
Well,
So,
if I'm at the beach at night, I'm not thinking about Jaws. I'm thinking about the first girl.
oh yeah.
Come on out. Why aren't you swimming? Come on. What are you doing?
Uh, my shy guy passed out.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll dive deep more into this movie here soon. Zach, what's your next movie?
Okay, next one. Saving Private Ryan from 1998 should have won Best Picture that year, but anyway,
Ult-
different. Yeah,
ultimate.
written by Robert Dodat. He wrote another really good.
Rodat.
Yeah, I think that's how you say it, right?
Rodat. Yeah, with an R. Rodat.
Rodat. But he wrote another really good war movie starring Mel Gibson called The Patriot. I don't know. You've seen
Oh,
that. I know you've seen it. You've seen it.
it's one of my favorites, honestly.
Yeah. And John Williams did the score for that. I know. I think
No
that's
kidding.
Yep, he did do the score for that one as well. uh, it's starring Tom Hanks, Ed Burns, Tom. The action is the Jew Sizemore,
Goddamn
Barry
right.
Pepper, Barry Pepper, and Matt Damon. After the brutal D-Day Omaha Beach invasion, a squad of Army Rangers are ordered to find and return an Army paratrooper after his three brothers are killed in combat.
Hmm.
And writing for the Chicago Tribune, your Rogers counterpart Gene Siskel lauded the film's ability to discuss the brutality and madness of war while believably celebrating the sacrifice and courage of those fighting it.
I mean, just an absolute banger. I mean,
It changed the way war movies were made.
and you didn't
Groundbreaking.
mention Adam Goldberg, Giovanni Ribisi, Vin
Vin
Diesel,
Diesel, yeah, yeah.
Paul Giamatti, Ted Danson, Dennis Farina, Jeremy
Brian Cranston.
Davies as Upton, Bryan Cranston makes a cameo. I mean, this movie's packed full of stars.
Did you say Dennis Farina?
You're goddamn right. I said Dennis Farina.
Okay, good, 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 good. They say the fucking
The
smog is
fucking smog
the
is
reason. It's the fucking
the
reason.
fucking beauty for the sunset. I'm from Miami Beach, motherfucker. For those who don't know, we're quoting Get Shorty,
Get
which is
Shorty.
also a great movie. Dennis Farina plays a hilarious bad guy in that movie. It's one of Zach and I's favorite. But the reason of the fucking smog is the fucking reason for the beautiful fucking sunsets.
Oh God.
Any
Do
Oscar noms? They had like 11 nominations. There are 10
yeah,
nominations.
it won five, including Spielberg got his second best director for that. I'm sure
That's right.
sound. Yeah,
I think it was best director, best cinematography, best sound, best film editing, and best sound effects.
nice.
Saving Private Ryan is just an absolute icon of a war movie. If we ever do war movies, I'm sure it'll win
Yeah, it
number
was
one for our list.
pretty groundbreaking.
Yeah, definitely.
They didn't make war movies like that
No.
until
And
this movie. Now they're all made like that. So
yeah, exactly. And we're definitely going to talk at length about that movie because holy shit. Rewatching it again. I mean, I've seen it 15, 20 times, but just, I mean, you're enthralled the entire time. It's such a well done movie, and the performances, especially by the action, is the juice Tom Sizemore.
he's good in that movie. He's great in that movie.
Oh yeah,
Actually,
we're gonna talk more about that later. The next movie on my list, released in 2002, the science fiction action Catch Me If You Can type movie called Minority Report, starring Tom Cruise, Colin Farrell, Max von Sydow, Steve Harris, Neil McDonough. Neil McDonough is a total that guy. He's in Walking Tall, Band of Brothers, Hitcher. If you see his face, you know who he is. I guarantee you don't know him by name. Based upon a short story by Philip K. Dick, which, if you have not ventured into the Dick world, hey, that wasn't funny. That's his last name. If you've
I
not
get
ventured into Philip Dick, he's done a ton of short stories and short novels, which a lot of directors, writers, Hollywood has taken advantage of. He is an excellent writer, and he just comes up with great stories over and over again. Minority Report is about police chief of a futuristic pre-crime department who takes advantage of a quote unquote precogs in which they can stop murders from actually happening within the Washington D.C. area. And we're going to talk more about kind of some nitpicks that I have with this movie and the whole ideology of that and where they're trying to go in the movie, but we'll go that later. Roger Ebert gave it 4 stars. Absolutely enjoyed this movie. He says, at a time when movies think they have to choose between action and ideas, Steven Spielberg's Minority Report is a triumph, a film that works on our minds and our emotions. It is a thriller, a human story, and a movie of ideas that's also a whodunit, which, if you've listened to our podcast at all, and if you know me at all, a good whodunit is right up my alley.
you do. You love those.
Yeah, good Philip Marlowe. I love a good movie, love a good book, love a good TV series of something happened. There are suspects, and now we're gonna find out who done it. Uh,
Yeah,
it only received one Oscar nomination. It did not win, but it was nominated for best sound editing, which is such an interesting category and award for the Academy, for the Oscars, because sound editing, I just don't understand. I mean, are they taking to the fact that bullets whizzing by people's heads sound real? Is it explosions? Is it, you know, clear dialogue? I've
Yeah.
never understood the whole sound editing and how they can even interpret, which one did well and which did poorly. I just, but it was nominated for sound editing. It did not win. And that was 2002 Minority Report.
All right. I mean, it's a good one.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Okay, last on my list, one of the greatest movies of all time, so it's going to be high on the list, of course, and that's Schindler's List from 1993. It was
Yes.
the screenplay was by Steven Zalian, who is an Average Jives regular.
Goddamn right he is.
Yeah, based on the Thomas Keanly historical novel Schindler's Ark, and it's starring Liam Neeson, Ralph Fiennes, Ben Kingsley, and Coraline Goodall. Uh, it's about Oscar Schindler, a very charming businessman who becomes an unlikely humanitarian by spending his fortune made by the World War, to save 1,100 Jewish workers from the horrendous Nazi final solution. Stephen Skiff of The New Yorker called it the best historical drama about the Holocaust, a film that will take its place in cultural history and remain there. Roger, of course, gave it 4 out of 4, while his counterpart Gene Siskel named it the best film of 1993. Won 7 Oscars, and one of them was Best Picture. So, you know,
Right. So
what
that
about,
was only actually Zach's fourth movie. He still has one more
I do.
because
Yes, yes. That was my
I went
bad.
first and I still have one more movie to introduce, and then he will do his final movie.
Yeah,
So
you.
my final movie is the ultimate classic, one of the best childhood movies, even though we can debate on that when we already did in an earlier pod. It's called Jurassic Park, based upon the novel by Michael Crichton. I don't know how.
Crichton. Yeah.
Crichton. Yeah. But then the screenplay was by a very well-known writer, screenplay writer, Hollywood almost legend, David Kep, who did Carlito's Way, Mission Impossible, Snake Eyes, Panic Room, War of the Worlds. David Kep is such a fantastic screenplay writer. And Michael Crichton also, Twister, Congo, Sphere, the show Westworld on HBO was based upon novels that he wrote.
Mhm.
Jurassic Park is starring Laura Dern. Don't know why I put her first. Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, Richard Attenborough, and Bob Peck. It is about a futuristic theme park featuring actual dinosaurs that goes haywire when an employee tries to profit off of the findings and accidentally lets the creatures loose in the park. It did win 3 Oscars. Again, best sound effects, best visual effects, which I completely agree with the visual effects. And Roger Ebert gave this movie 3 stars, which was pretty surprising. I mean, this was
Really? Huh.
a huge hit in the 90s. I mean, it won the Oscar, or it didn't win the Oscar. It was nominated for the Oscar for Best Picture. We've mentioned Jurassic Park several times in this pod. One of my favorite childhood movies. Again, we can debate, but undoubtedly, anybody in our generation, born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, Jurassic Park was the movie.
Yeah, another groundbreaking Spielberg movie that we both had it at number one during that episode. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It was our number one childhood movie. Again, not great for children, being attacked and you see people eaten off toilets and ripped in half
I mean,
by
I mean,
dinosaurs. But I,
Samuel Jackson loses his arm and stuff. So yeah, it's
yeah,
not a big
and
deal.
I mean, and honestly, my nephew right now, from the time he was 4 years old until I don't know if he still wants to, but he wanted to be a paleontologist. He could name every dinosaur, and I think a lot of children in our generation and other generations went through that stage where we're just fascinated by dinosaurs and the Cretaceous period, the Jurassic period, the whatever period. It's something that's so long ago that we just don't know anything about, and it's fascinating. But anyway, Roger Ebert gave this movie 3 stars. He said when young Steven Spielberg was first offered the screenplay for Jaws, he said he would direct a movie on one condition: that he didn't have to show the shark for the first hour. Slowly building the audience apprehension, he felt the shark would be much more impressive. I wish he had remembered that lesson when he was preparing Jurassic Park, because he says in his new thriller, the movie delivers all too well in its promise to show dinosaurs too early and too often. I think that's why he gave it only 3 stars, because he was going into the movie thinking it was going to be similar to Jaws, where you wouldn't see the dinosaurs until the very end and it would be a big climactic reveal. But I think Steven Spielberg and Hollywood in general thought, hey, you know, these effects, these visual effects, the practical effects, very few CGI shots in this film that we talked about in length in our childhood pod. They were just so astounded by how realistic they looked.
Right.
I mean, it was almost I think it's the third scene, they show that view of the landscape and you see 4 or 5 different species of dinosaurs, when Sam Neill is in the Jeep and he, is just astonished by it and kind of hits Laura Dern in the head like, hey, you're missing this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure. I, mean, I don't think it's a great. I mean, 3 out of 4 is still good. It's not. That's not a
Therefore, it's
bad
still good.
review. Well,
It's
and
not
I'm
a
pretty
bad
sure.
review, but I was expecting 4, honestly, when I read the
Yeah,
review. And if you read the review, I mean, it sounds like he wants to give it a 4 star. And
yeah,
I've read hundreds of Roger Ebert reviews. I know when he likes a movie and when he doesn't enjoy a movie. And just by reading the review, it sounds like he would have given it at least 3.5, maybe 4. But 3 stars is, like you said, it's still a good movie. It's still one of our favorites. Obviously, we gave it number one in our childhood. So, and then Zach, you have the last movie to introduce.
yeah. And I'm pretty sure Spielberg didn't show the shark in Jaws as often because the shark didn't work. Like that
And it,
was a big
yeah, it
issue
didn't.
throughout. It wasn't that he made it that way because he didn't have any other way to shoot it because the shark was supposed to be all over the damn place. But
And it,
yeah, I don't.
and, but it ended up working out. And we're going to talk
Oh,
about
it
it
worked out
because
great. Yeah,
obviously we're going to talk about Jaws on our list. But yeah, no, that was a big thing with the production and ultimate editing and release of the film is they they wanted to show the shark early and often as they did in Jurassic Park, but because they didn't feel like it looked realistic enough, they really wanted the suspense to build and then have it in just the kind of final act.
yeah,
Which honestly, it worked out. I mean,
yeah. It did.
it's a
It did.
happy accident. They would say.
Yeah, totally, totally. All right, my this is officially the last one on my list. Raiders of the Lost Ark from 1981. The story's by Star Wars creator George Lucas, also the writer director of the 1973 hit American Graffiti that Jaaron definitely needs to rewatch. Also written by
I
Lawrence
watched it on a
Kasdan.
flight to Alaska, Zach.
I know that's why I'm saying you need to
I
rewatch
know.
it.
Yeah.
You can do better. You can be in a better setting than that. So it deserves a better setting. Just you and the TV, you know.
Just and my dog. And my
And
dog,
the
Steve.
dog, of course. Yeah,
And
yeah.
the dog, yeah. A little
Lawrence
cuss.
Kasdan, yeah, nasty little shit that he is, but I'm just kidding. It's also written by Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote the screenplay
Mm.
for Empire Strikes Back, which was another George Lucas collaboration. And Kasdan also was the writer director of movies such as The Big Chill, Body Heat, and Wyatt Earp, the Kevin Costner Wyatt Earp, of course. Uh, the movie starring Harrison Ford, Karen Allen, Paul Freeman, and John Rhys Davies. It's about the archaeologist Indiana Jones as he sets off an adventure in search for the lost of the Ark of the Covenant. Lost Ark of the Covenant. Stephen Klein of Variety called the film exhilarating escapist entertainment. He
Hmm.
continued that the film successfully balanced action, comedy, and suspense with mystical mythologies.
Yeah, and another movie that we've previously already have on our list on our best action movies, which it ended up being number one, didn't it?
It was, yeah. It was like
Yeah,
unanimous
it's
too. Yeah.
yeah, it was no, I mean, this is the lore of action films. I mean, it's
Yes.
I forget my actual specs for it, but I think it was like every 7 minutes there's an action scene.
Yeah.
I
Every
mean,
scene has like, some sort of suspense too. That's what
it
makes it such a
yeah.
catchy hit. It's a terrific movie, and I think even like Steven Soderbergh, I think made a cut where he made it black and white without sound
Oh,
to see
that's
if
right.
it, to see if
Yeah,
it
to
would
see if it
still
was
show.
still yeah,
Yeah,
and it was
and
still a
it,
banger.
yeah, he still loved it. Yeah, so
Okay. Well,
yeah,
now
that's
that
it.
we have introduced all of our movies, this is where the nitty gritty and the fun starts for Zach and I, where we can debate and argue about where we're going to put each movie on the list. Now, Zach, I believe you revealed your low 10 and 9 first last time. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reveal mine. I had Catch Me If You Can at number 10 and Minority Report at 9.
Oh shit. Well, I had Catch Me If You Can at 10, so we agree with that.
Perfect.
and I had Minority Report at 8, so it's not like
Oh,
we're that
wow.
far
We're
off
not
on
too
each
far
other.
off.
I had Catch Me If You Can because it's just my least favorite story out of all 10.
It's the least imaginative, I guess, if
Hmm.
you want to say that. I mean,
Right.
it's such a fun movie, and it goes like I said, it's a cameo's dream movie. I mean, Ellen Pompeo and Jennifer Gardner makes an appearance, and Martin Sheen's in there, Amy Adams.
Yeah,
They
Amy
have
Adams.
all they have
Yeah.
all this, but again, it is kind of an underlying I don't know if it's a kind of a catch me if you can moment about it, where there is these articles and these stories now coming out, 10, 15, 20 years later. Did Frank Abagnale Jr. actually do all of these things?
Hmm.
So I mean, it could just be somebody's fabrication of their life that, really caught fire, in the late 1990s and the early 2000s when people's imaginations, the internet was just coming around. We couldn't fact check all these things. So it could just be some young man who, you know, fabricated his life and wrote a book and said, I did all these things. But then it turns out a lot of them aren't really proven. And
Right.
again, it all happened, in the 70s. And so can you prove everything that happened there? They didn't have records as well as they did. It was all a lot of paper written things, which plays into the movie because everything was on paper.
Yeah.
That's how he was able to create all these checks and fly everywhere where he did. But I mean, I gotta say, it's a good little theme from John Williams, obviously.
Oh, dude, I was going to ask if this was a hot take. Other than Raiders, I think this is my favorite John Williams score on our list. I like the jazz type
Yeah,
music,
I
I
mean,
guess.
for people in our generation, and either other generations, older generations that saw this, and I mean, you hear that dun, 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 bum, bum, bum,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so catchy, and it's like, what is going on here? And even like the title scene or the casting, I'm having a brain fart here, where they say who's in the movie and the casting director and
Oh, the
everything.
credits or
That
something.
first,
Yeah,
the
the
credit
scene.
scene in the
Yeah.
beginning. I mean, it's so fanciful, is what I
Hmm.
wrote down. I have fanciful, and it's
Very, very,
just it's
yeah,
it's very upbeat and it's very kind of mysterious of a sound. And I mean, John Williams, we're talking about. So
yeah.
and
The
honestly,
stick figures, like the Saul Bass type of opening. Yeah, it kind of,
yeah, yeah, 100%.
yeah.
But I
I
mean,
dig.
I do think they kind of in the movie Catch Me If You Can, he gets right to it. I mean, there's a little expository in the beginning about
Right.
the family and kind of what's going on, but there's also scenes where Christopher Walken is taking Leo. Hey, we're gonna get you a suit, and you're my driver, and he's putting on this big show. So he's telling two stories where one, he needs to make it look like he's a successful businessman for the banker, but he's setting up the Frank Abagnale Jr. character, Leo's character, and like, hey, this is how you con people.
Yeah, right, right.
So I think it was very well done. And I this is a movie I enjoy watching, Zach. I mean,
Well, shit, I don't hate watching any of these movies on the
no,
list. I mean, all
well,
of these
yeah,
are
and
watchable. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's tough. We're talking about Steven fucking Spielberg here. you know, One of the best directors. So for this movie to even be on the list, I think is saying something about just how much we enjoy it. I was the one that put it on the
right.
list, but I
Yeah.
know that you knew that I was going to put it on the list.
Yeah,
I, I mean, it's just a fun movie. Just how the quick cuts and I mean, they jump through time, years and years and years, and first he's a pilot, and then he's a doctor, and then he's a lawyer, and we're seeing all these different lifescapes of this individual until Tom Hanks finally catches up with him. And there's that great scene, where where he does catch up with him halfway through the movie, and then he plays him off. I mean, Leo plays a very good con man in this movie. Just because it's at number 10 on our list, people, it doesn't mean it's not you know not one of our favorites. It's just not the best done, in my opinion. I think it belongs at number 10.
yeah, me too. Yeah, and again, I had Minority Report at 8, but I think it'll surprise you what I had at 9, and that was
Well,
I had.
I thought we would be right on cue with 10 and 9, honestly. I'm pretty surprised that you didn't have I love Minority Report,
Me too. Me too.
but looking at these movies that are on the list, I mean, shit, what are you going to put under it? So, tell me, what did you put under it?
What I will, like I said, you'll be surprised. I had Munich at 9. I might,
Whoa!
yeah. If I were to make a personal top
Whoa!
five, if I were to make a personal top five, it would be in my top five. But for joining, making a top 10, I put it at 9, and the only reason I did was because
Wow.
it's they basically give you a list right away of all these people that need to be killed, and
Sure.
so that's kind the
And then they
move.
go
That's something.
through
Yeah,
killing them.
exactly. As soon as they kill a terrorist number 2, you're like, well, they've got more to come, obviously, and of course, Spielberg
Sure.
being the great storyteller that he is, they go to a different country to do the hit, and they do it in a different way. And like I said, it would be a personal top 5 of mine, but it's because it has like an old school direction of film, like how he uses the mirror and how
Yeah.
like William Wyler used to use mirror a lot in him, and David
A
Lean used
lot.
to use like transition cuts, like when he's like, "I need receipts," and he closes the book, and the
Yeah.
dust comes out, and then it just cuts to the wind blowing trash. I can't remember. I don't know if they were in freaking Tel Aviv or I don't. I can't remember where they were, but those are just the incremental storytelling that I know you might have saw a hint of that in like The Man Who Would Be King, where it's like one
Yeah.
step at a time as they're sitting in the car. The,
They're literally
yeah,
spelling out the movie for
exactly.
you,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah,
it goes exactly how it would. Yeah, no, movies that you and I enjoy, you want to be kept on your toes. You want to be, what is happening next? Where's the suspense? But I do think this film is, I mentioned it offline to you when we were speaking earlier. We did this movie as one of our first pods where we were filling out the pod, and we
hmm
were just picking movies to deep dive into.
right.
And I think I even said, this movie was kind of boring. And I completely retract that statement.
Well, I think I hung up on you too. So yeah,
Yeah, no, you were pissed. No, you said whatever, dick, and then I heard beep beep beep.
lost connection.
Yeah. Wait, did I wait? Did my Wi-Fi go out?
Yeah.
But I mean, wow. No, completely surprised that you had it this low.
Well, dude, where'd you have it? Because it's obviously like you said in the introductions, we're into characters as great characters,
Yeah,
and the film also has like
definitely.
a little
And there's not a
underbelly
lot.
of morality too, and like the
Sure.
hypocritical, how the missions are kind of hypocritical and what it accomplishes, and meeting the
Yeah.
sword with the
Oh,
sword
and
and
that's
shit
through the
like that.
entire movie.
Yeah, yeah,
The Banya character is constantly, at first he's questioning everything that he's doing. Hey, is this even good for, Jews in general? And what are
yeah,
we accomplishing? Aren't we doing what they were doing to us? And then by the end of the movie, he's the one. being talked into, hey, what are we doing here? But
Yeah.
he's so driven and so set on the mission now because he's so deep in.
Yeah.
They don't need
Yeah.
the
Did you
scenes.
notice the uh little homage to Manchurian Candidate when he shoots him in the milk through the milk?
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. No.
Yeah.
I no,
That's
I
what I
didn't
mean.
even put that together. Holy shit, that's awesome.
That's what I mean about like he kind of takes the classics that I like and molds them into the 2005 style, the
Well, I mean,
21st century style of filmmaking, and I dig it.
well, I think this is, really also taking from and giving to the first scene of Saving Private Ryan when who what we're gonna dive deep into that movie here soon too. But I mean, they're just there's I mean, it's constant zooming and
Yeah.
it's constant handheld shots and circling around people, and they're having a conversation in the car about what's going on in there, and then he zooms through the car window into
Mhm.
another conversation that's happening on the
Yes.
sidewalk,
Hmm.
and then
Again,
I'm
master storytelling, dude. That's what he is.
definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, and this is one of what how many that are based upon a true. So we got Munich, Schindler's, Saving Private Ryan, and maybe Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
debate that, but I had it pretty high on my list because again, I rewatched it and it's just it's a fucking action packed movie. There's a lot of talking, but there's also a lot of suspense, and
Yeah.
it's based on a true story. But I also really enjoyed when he brought in the actual footage of like news coverage of it, and he's playing that into the story that he's trying to tell that nobody really knows, right? I mean, other than the people that were involved, but I actually had it at 5.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I mean, the first time I watched it, well, the first time I watched it, I was much younger. It was in my early 20s. I think you actually turned me on to it, and I was like, yeah, it was a good movie, whatever. And then we did the pod, and I was like, yeah, just boring. But this last viewing, it really is a great movie for anybody watching to us and listening to us for the last 50 minutes, which we need to start moving along here. Munich is a very underrated movie. And
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
anybody out there who likes a good suspense, action, Eric Banya movie,
yeah.
go watch Munich. Okay, for you to have it at 9, wow.
We'll come back to it. We'll figure it out. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
mean,
I don't know if it's necessary. Well, let's keep talking to see if it should stay at 5. Because I mean,
sure.
that's if in my personal top 5, that's where it would be probably at
Well, I
5.
mean, if I had Minority Report at 9, you had it at 8, I'm not going to let Munich go to 9.
Yeah.
At worst, I'm going to put it in parentheses right now and we'll decide later, but I'm going to put Munich at 8, Minority Report
Okay.
at 9.
Okay. Sounds good.
And then just briefly about Minority Report. I mean, what a fucking action banger. I mean, it's
Yeah, and
just
it
it's
had us. They well, Giannis Kaminsky used like a little. I like the desaturated like silver tint that it has. He kind of like had
the
a
whole movie.
yeah, and I dug it, and he continues to do that in this. He has a little bit of a tint to it. I know AI
Sure.
looked a lot like it, but yeah, using the fluorescent lighting for interior shots, yeah, it's or
Yeah.
like
There's
I don't know how to say it. Like
no, it's
instead
just
of
a filter on the entire
yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Right? So like as a viewer, you're kind of, you know, not agape to what's going on, but you're kind of salient. I mean, you're watching what's going on, and because it's that kind of gray filter, you could just kind of watch it with little emotion. I guess is what I'm trying to say, and I think that's what Janusz and Steven were trying to do because that's how the world in this futuristic, you know, future is viewing the precogs, where
right,
they have no emotion to them, and it's hey, they might be human beings, they might not be, but they're helping us. So we're going to not displace any emotion towards those three. And
correct,
I think that that's kind of what they were going for. But I mean, ultimately, when he does save, or when he kidnaps Agatha, I guess. Yeah, I mean, lack of a better word, he does kidnap her. You do see more you do see more color in the film, and it does kind of become a little less gray and more fluorescent. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of what it is. And then, have her, the scene where they're going through the mall where they're escaping and she's reaching out to, "Hey, don't go home. He knows."
I love
You
that
know,
scene, the mall
And
scene.
then,
Where,
like, "Do you
yeah,
see the balloon man?" And he's like, "We have to go. We have to go." And it's like, "Wait, wait." And then you see all the balloon colors. That's more colors than the entire movie has shown previous.
right.
And and in my opinion, I think that's kind of what Steven and Janusz were trying to get at is, hey, we've been so glossed over. Sometimes we don't show emotion to things that if they're helping us, but they may be animalistic or humanistic or whatever it may be, we don't show emotion to that. And then once he takes her out of the temple, quote unquote, that they call it, you start to see more color in the film. And I think that's on purpose.
Yeah, I like it. I like it, Jern. Good take. Good take.
I actually I thought that was one of my best takes, like, in this entire pod. Not even this, but, like, in our entire
in,
all of
in
the
the entire
previous pods,
series.
that's what I no, and I was glad that you brought that up because I have it written down. It's like, it's so whitewashed until Agatha is taken, and then more color starts to appear. I don't know if they did it on purpose. I don't know if I'm just
No, yeah,
making
it's a great take,
making
man.
shit up in my head, but I mean, yeah, I mean, there's some deep themes in there about loss. What Steven Spielberg does so well is, he does show that he's going through it with viewing the videos of his child, and then you see him take the drug, and when Colin Farrell's character goes into his apartment and finds it all. I mean, there have been times where I've been depressed. I've gone through things, and if you were to come in my apartment, you'd see beer cans everywhere, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you could walk into my apartment and be like, "Wow, he's going through something." Whether that's good or bad, it's definitely not healthy, but I think Spielberg did a good job of telling that kind of story, even though he doesn't harp on it too much, but it's just a little, hey, this is kind of the background of who this man is and why he's getting to the ultimate point of killing, Crow, who he doesn't
yeah.
know.
Well, his Spielberg has a lot of movies with theme of loss in
Oh,
some
a
way,
ton.
and it's
That's,
about
I mean,
yeah,
almost every original that he does. So I mean, we're gonna go through all of them here. Um, I don't want to spend too much time on the Minority Report since we have it so low. But it's one of my not favorite rewatchables, but it is just such a fun movie. I thought it was great CGI. I thought it was real quick. I wanted to say it was a really good shot. Oh, excuse me, just burped. Where when Colin Farrell and Tom Cruise are having their first interaction, and he rolls the red ball.
yeah, the red ball, yeah,
Why'd you catch that? Well, it was gonna fall. Well, yeah, but it didn't because you stopped it. And that's kind of
the paradox,
a
yeah,
paradox of the entire movie is, well, this was gonna happen. Yeah, but it didn't because I stopped it. Yeah, but was it going to fall on the ground had you not stopped it? I don't know, because you stopped it. So is that right or wrong? And then there's a really good shot, real quick, that I thought Steven did a great job where Neil McConaughey's head is in the foreground of the shot, and then you see Colin Farrell on one side, Tom Cruise on the other, and it's almost like a good and evil,
yeah,
where
yeah,
they're arguing about, is precog really good for the, you know, not only the United States, but is it good for the world? Now we have the top seven.
yeah, yeah.
And at seven, well, actually at eight, I had ET.
Well, I had ET at 7, so we can't. It's not. We're closer than we thought, I guess. But well,
I
maybe not.
agree.
You had Munich higher, but
Yeah. Well,
I kind of forgot how funny ET was, and
yeah, it's a
it could
fun
probably
movie.
yeah, it probably could. If we would have recorded this episode 15 years ago, it probably would have been a lot
Mm.
higher on the list. But I mean, yeah, it's just a cute little kid film. It didn't hit me like I remembered it hitting me when I was a child, but the E.T. and Schindler's List are the two films that Spielberg wants to be remembered for, and that says something, I suppose. But
I mean, but does he want to be remembered for ET because it's a great film or because it was so successful?
hmm, I don't know. I don't know.
Or when the movie came out. But I think like kids nowadays, and me thinking about me as a kid today, I would not imagine a brown, almost like a pile of shit alien. I mean, he's just a brown, slimy. I mean, I,
I don't know how
I
to
mean, yeah.
describe
Obviously, I
brown
watched
meat.
the movie when I was younger and I loved it. Right, everybody loved ET. Watching it today, I'm like, God, that's what they picked to be a childhood sci-fi fantasy alien is just this slow moving, short, stocky, brown, moist thing.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Am I wrong? No,
You're
you're not
not
wrong.
wrong,
You're just
Walter.
an
You're just a
asshole.
fucking asshole, man.
Okay then. Yeah, I don't shit. The way we're talking about ET, man, it might need to be. I'd probably put Munich ahead of ET now. Now that I'm
That's
thinking,
where that's where I preliminarily put it while we were discussing a little bit. But I mean, it's just the older brother Michael, he's a total douchebag, and then as
well,
soon as he
he's just
sees
an older brother. You know what I mean? It's just sibling
yeah,
bullshit.
I get it. But then as soon as he sees the alien, he's like, I'm on board, 100%.
Yeah,
Like, well, you were just a fucking asshole to your little brother. And then now that he found an alien, like, you're not going to go tell your mom, who's, and again, loss, right? That's the theme of the movie is, their father has left them.
he's kind of
So
yeah,
they're
a little
looking for something to replace that in their lives, right? That not quite a father figure, but something to
yeah,
replace that void in their life.
like substitute. Yeah,
And
yeah.
you could argue that's kind of the point of the movie is E.T. came into the little boy's life because he's just lost his father. And now he's giving him kind of a purpose. And it's a fun movie. I had a dude, I had a shit ton of nitpicks about it. It's just I mean, the themes of abandonment, right? I get it. But
Broken homes. Yeah, it's yeah.
broken homes, but it's kind of too on the nose.
Mhm.
But I mean, back in 82, sure, right? Like yeah, a lot of people can relate to this, and it is a fanciful sci-fi movie, and it's an uplifting story. And I really liked how Spielberg never really showed an adult's face other than the mom until the last act.
Mhm.
I
Well, yeah,
think that really
and I like throughout the whole movie, you think the scientists are the evil guys, but he's like,
right,
I've been waiting for this my whole life. I want to save him too. You know what I mean? Like they're
yeah.
not.
And he
He's
was
not.
like, "I'm jealous that he came to you and not me." You
Right.
know, yeah, and it's the constant shots of like the keychain, you know,
hmm
like on the belt loop of the guy's waistband. And it's
hmm
just always like, oh, these people they're bad. Those are the bad guys. And it kind of plays into, the government's bad, right? 82, right after, Cold War is happening and, the government is a bad thing. And who knows what they're going to, who knows what their motives are. And that's kind of what the kid in the movie is saying. Like, I don't know what they're going to do to him.
Right.
Ultimately when they find him and then you find out that, the Peter Coyote character is like, "Hey, no, I've been searching for this guy too, and I've been wanting this since I was a child." So
Yeah.
Spielberg's kind of playing with that. He's in kind of a gray area. But, compared to these other movies, I think at 8, I'm happy with it, and then Munich at 7.
Okay. Sounds good to
Because
me, brother.
we got some great movies coming up here.
Yeah, we do.
What did you have at 7 though on your list?
I had ET. I don't know if I said that. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I had
you
ET
might
at
have.
7, and then I had Close Encounters at 6. That's what I had at
Oh, and
6.
I had Close Encounters at 7. So
Oh shit! All right.
wow, we're pretty on the fucking.
I wasn't
Maybe
expecting that.
maybe
To be honest.
we've been doing this pod a while. We're tuned into each other. So
Well,
yeah, I'm gonna pen in Close Encounters right at 6. And I had never seen this movie before you put it on your list, Zach.
yeah, yeah, dude. I just saw it a couple years ago because Dad, when I was during my last deployment, my dad was sending me TC. He was recording TCM movies and sending them over, and one of the
Nice.
ones that he sent over was Close Encounters,
Yeah.
and it must have got lost in the shuffle. I knew I had it in the stack, so whenever somebody told me that I had seen Close Encounters, I was like, yeah, obviously, because I watched almost all the movies he sent me, but somehow
Right.
I didn't know that I hadn't seen it until I saw it at the TCM Film Festival, where Spielberg actually introduced this movie, where he had a little
Hmm.
Q&A with Ben Mankiewicz, and so they talked for a little bit before the movie started, and that was actually, we were about 20 minutes in the movie when I leaned over to Dad, and I was like, Dad, dude, I don't think I've freaking seen this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
Well,
loved it.
and
I
it's
loved it in the theaters, and I loved how it was shot. And dude, there are a lot of filmmakers who were inspired by this movie. It's
100%.
yeah,
And I had never seen it, like I just said, but I'm so glad you put this on and that we're doing Spielberg because I don't know if I would have watched it even
mhm,
now.
yeah.
Um, and it's just such a fucking. I think it's. Correct me if I'm wrong, but was it Steven Spielberg's kind of idea, or was it brought to him?
No, it was Spielberg's idea.
Yeah,
He's always been fascinated with
yeah, and
the
I think it's his crown jewel. If you know, if when we're talking about like sci-fi,
mm,
you know, other beings in the world or in the universe. I think
well,
that's his. I mean, I know I have it low. You know, I had it at 7. We got some excellent movies above that, but for being, ET and Minority Report, futuristic things, I think Close Encounters is the best of that kind of genre that he's done.
yeah. And I know he wanted to make it before Jaws, but nobody would touch it
Yeah.
because
No,
it
yeah.
was so unknown and stuff. And I don't know if he probably would have made it completely different if he made it
Mhm.
later than he did. So,
Oh, I would
uh,
love if he would have revisited it in the 90s or the early 2000s or even now and
yeah,
do it again with the special effects we have, you know, just in
those
the in
those are pretty
opening.
special effects, anyways. Even for
Well,
'77, I thought they were pretty good. But,
oh, excellent, dude, and I
especially
thought,
at the train intersection, the crossing. Yeah,
yeah,
I was impressed when I
that's
saw it. I
iconic.
was like, dude, I was like, that looks fucking incredible even now because you just
Oh,
see everything flying. And he's like looking at it like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah,
yeah,
it's so.
everything goes all the power grid goes down. He goes out
Mhm.
in his truck, the train, he's right there at the railroad crossing, and then boom, the light above the truck. I think that's an iconic shot.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, what is are they gonna beam him up? Are they gonna,
Mhm.
now we know Independence Day and everything else, nothing actually happens, right?
Right.
All
Yeah,
of his mechanics and technology in the truck goes haywire, and that's it. He doesn't get beamed up. He doesn't get blasted to death, right? It's just it's
yeah,
a mystery. It's like what is going on? And I thought it was a perfect. Then obviously he's bringing back Dreyfus from Jaws. He loved working with him in that previous film and other films. Your favorite American whatever and
American Graffiti. Fuck
American
that.
Graffiti. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
keep
yeah.
busting your balls about it. So,
I'm gonna keep bust your balls about Super Troopers.
well, that movie's American Graffiti isn't. There's a
But
difference.
I mean, it's such and it's so fun. And like, I love hiking, right? And I love national parks. I love national monuments. And Devil's Tower is a national monument. So I don't know how many people, what year did Close Encounters come out? 82 or something?
No, 77.
77. Like, I doubt a lot of people in America knew what Devil's Tower was. But me, as being a big hiker and loving national monuments, things like that. As soon as he started to build it, I'm like, that looks like the Devil's Tower in Wyoming. But I thought it was really cool that they used an actual national monument for the site to where they were going to communicate with us, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And it's out in the middle of nowhere. He just got in his car and he drove. His family thinks he's fucking crazy. But then there are
well,
also other
yeah,
people who are painting pictures. The woman, painting the pictures, and then the other people that they talked to in the helicopter were, yeah, I saw it too, and I was drawn here for no reason at all, just that I needed to come here. I just felt this urge,
yeah.
and I think
Well, I mean,
I think
the movie covers not just you know alien life force and broken homes, but it also covers mental health too. Because
yeah,
everybody that's dealing with Richard Dreyfuss thinks that he's fucking crazy. Like it's
He's
not.
crazy.
He's having a breakdown and he doesn't know what's happening. So yeah, it's and they're
And you're seeing all the shots of, him in the lawn and, ripping up the neighbor's garden and throwing shit in the kitchen window. And Spielberg does a really good job of kind of having them on the outskirts of the shot where, yeah, people in the neighborhood have come now and they're starting to watch him.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
kind of how you feel, but he was right, right? And that's kind of how people in history and in the future will, the people who are right sometimes are looked at as crazy and are outsiders. And people are looking at them saying, wow, that guy is out of his mind, but he's the first one. And then eventually everybody will come to grips with he was right. And I think that's what history has told us, you know.
yeah,
Again,
yeah.
I'm throwing out, I'm tuned in, baby. Like I'm tuned in. Like there are a lot of themes going on in Spielberg's movies that just the play towards history and in the future, and it's just he knows how to tap into that to have the audience know exactly what he's saying, but not really know what he's saying. But at the same time, the cinematography and just where he places people and where he places things and the shots sometimes like the
Yeah,
shot where he's seeing it on the news and then with his monument that he's built in the kitchen in the background but then the TV in the foreground
yeah,
and then he just happens to look over and see it and it clicks for him. I mean, Spielberg's just a master. Okay, well anyway, sorry, we need to keep going. We're at an hour 13 here. Close Encounters, you had it at 6, I had it at 7. It's going in at 6. um I'm going to recap real quick the bottom 10 so far.
okay.
At number 10, we have Catch Me If You Can. At number 9, Minority Report. Number 8, E.T. The Extraterrestrial. Number 7, Munich. And number 6, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And then now we're going to kind of get into the nitty gritty of the top 5, which if things are going to keep going the way they have, I don't think there's going to be a lot of debate. There's just going to be some discussion about why we have them there.
Right, right.
I had Munich at 5. So I'm gonna go ahead and go on a limb and say you had Jurassic Park at 5.
I actually did not. I had Saving Private Ryan at 5.
Whoa!
Yeah, from strictly a filmmaking
Wow.
standpoint, groundbreaking standpoint, Saving Private Ryan would probably be 3 in my opinion, but it has
That's where
pretty
we're gonna
significant.
have.
It has some significant flaws in the writing, so that's why I put it at 5. Most of the combat sequences are realistic as fuck, and
Mm-hmm.
Spielberg kind of gave his cameramen reign to just start freaking shooting, gave the actors just start freaking running, and we'll capture what we can. And it's obviously at the time it was the most realistic war movie ever made, and it's uh, I think Joe Rogan actually had a guest on his podcast, and I can't remember who it was, but his grandfather had been on one of the beaches of Normandy and said he had to leave the theater because he started smelling diesel. So,
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty, very powerful, very moving for veterans, and that's the biggest compliment a war movie can have. So,
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's widely known and articulated throughout many reviewers and many survivors of World War II, where they went to see the movie, and a lot of previous army and war veterans walked out because it was so realistic that they had to that they were getting flashbacks and it was coming up. It was too realistic. Wow,
but
I
what did
can't
where'd
believe.
you have it? Where you have it?
Well, I don't want to reveal that
Why?
because
You have
I
to
had it
say
at
it.
number one.
Jesus, dude, number one?
Dude, it's Steven Spielberg's best movie in my opinion.
It's
The
not.
the the best.
It's not, dude.
Well,
Not
that's
even.
why we have this podcast right now,
Yeah,
right, Zach?
I guess.
I cannot place it anywhere out of the top 3. So, it's
Let's
gonna
put
go
it at
at least number 3.
okay. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you. I kind of would have assumed since William Goldman kind of tore the movie apart. I figured
Well, I
I
was
figured you would have had the same kind of
I
opinion
know.
because
Well,
even from a military standpoint, one, I don't think they would send Army Rangers. Two, they wouldn't be fucking walking because as soon as you got off the beach or past a particular town, you would be in enemy territory, and they're just
right.
fucking walking around, joshing,
There's
jiving, and being like,
jive.
oh yeah, let's just do. They're just walking like it ain't no thing. It's like
Hey,
no,
that's FUBAR, right?
they would be jumping from bush to bush.
Yeah.
That's not how they would have operated that
I
mission.
I
But
completely understand, and yeah, for those listening who have not read over and over again like I have William Goldman's review of this movie,
over and over again.
he I've read the review 100 times, man. And I agree with him on a lot of points. I disagree with him on a lot of points. For those who have not done that, he really feels like it's emotional manipulation, especially the first scene and the last scene he has a lot of problems with. Walking into Arlington Cemetery and what he says are the busty children
The
of
stage.
Brad.
Well,
He
yeah.
no, he mentioned it. He's like, "Why do we need these busty women in the shot?" It's you know, but I see what Steven Spielberg was trying to do in that, and to
Oh,
where
I do too. It's a
the
movie.
shot that goes into his face and then it fades into Tom Hanks's character. You think it's being told through that character's point of view. It's not,
Right.
right?
It's
The end of the movie reveals that Tom Hanks's character dies, and it's actually Private Ryan, and he was the one who saved. And Spielberg is showing us that they saved his life so he could have this big family, and that was the point of the mission, right? Because the other 3 brothers died. So hey, let's save this man so his mother wouldn't have to endure any more pain, and then he could have a good life, and that's what he asked, like, "Tell me I had a good life." And I understand that, but and I've never been in war. Zach, you've been, right, on the front lines.
no, I wasn't. I wouldn't
Well,
consider
not on the
myself
front
a
lines.
I
Not
wouldn't
on the front
consider myself
lines.
a combat veteran, but I employed
You
my
are
fair
you're a
share.
but
Yeah,
you're a veteran,
yeah.
and we need to recognize you, and we need to recognize everybody, and thank you, Zach,
No,
for your
appreciate.
contributions to the freedom of this country.
I appreciate.
I just the first scene alone, the
Oh,
Omaha
dude,
beach scene, had if that alone, if it
I
were its
watch that
own
on
short
YouTube by myself.
story,
Yeah, yeah. I watch that on
would
YouTube by
be
myself all the time. Yeah.
I think yeah, no, I think that would I mean, I've never been there. I don't know people, I know people who have passed, but I wasn't with them, right? You lose people and you keep going because that's war.
Yeah.
And and like we talked about, Bryan Cranston's in it, Dennis Farina, the Dennis Farina character. Dennis Farina is much taller than I thought, by the way.
Yeah.
Dude's like 6'3".
Oh shit! Well, is he actually that tall? Or I guess I'm
Yeah.
holy
Yeah.
shit.
Like, yeah. I saw him as like a 5'10" guy, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But I mean, just the way and it is a little on the nose, it's a little cliche, it's a little expository, when they're and I thought Tropic Thunder did a really good job of satiring this, where, they're walking through and it's, "Oh, I'm from Brooklyn," and then you see but isn't that how it was and that how it is in today's military even, like, you do have somebody from Jersey, you have somebody from
oh
Texas,
yeah,
you
yeah.
have somebody from Wyoming, like, you get these squads and it's just a mishmash of people, and, the scene where he finally and I think it's the turning point of the movie, is when they come upon, the radio towers or the satellite towers or whatever it is. And do we continue on our mission or do we take out these enemies that are right in front of us?
Yeah, yeah,
And Upham's the viewer. Honestly, that's the POV. That's the character POV for us as the audience because
yeah. He's
a
passive.
majority
Yeah,
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 the major like that would be me if I were thrown into battle, right? Like he's just taken out, the Upham character is just taken out,
writer.
and
Is
throughout
it?
the whole movie, he's and,
Yeah,
and the Adam Goldberg, and he's calling for Upham. But that scene, I think, like I said, is really the crux of the movie. It's the fork in the road. Hey, now the characters' actions in that scene is really the morality point of the entire movie. Is we've gone so far into war. There is some morality in war, right? It's against the rules. That's why there's rules of war, and
yeah.
and then
Geneva
it
Convention.
comes back and it fucks them over. And it's
Hmm.
just, I just think Spielberg did such a great job.
It's probably his third best directed movie, so we can put it at 3. I'm good with that.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I have a lot of notes. I'm going through all of them. Like, and it's just, I mean, rewatching all these movies. Damn, Saving Private Ryan. Okay, number 3. That's where it's going. So at number 5, I had Munich at 5. Obviously,
Right.
you had Munich at 9. You had Saving Private at Ryan at 5, but we need to fill the 5 slot. So what did you?
I had Jurassic Park at 4.
Okay, that's what I thought was going to happen, and we're going to put Jurassic right at 5. I mean, we've gone through this movie already before. It's a classic. I think everybody listening to this has seen Jurassic Park 100 times. The practical effects, the very few CGI
Oh, I thought it was.
scenes.
Well, I mean, the dinosaur scene's all CGI.
No, no,
Or
the
were they?
Tyrannus,
Or,
the T Rex scenes where he's like coming in. That's an anatomical. That's
oh,
like
is it?
a
I thought they
yeah.
used CGI
That's a
for that.
that's a prop that they built and that people were controlling. And that's kind of what made
I know
us
the Raptors were
the
whenever they were
Raptors, yes.
running across the field. That shit was all.
Yeah,
That,
definitely.
I don't know what type of dinosaurs those are. I probably used to back in the day, but I don't anymore. But yeah, that shit's all. And the uh, God damn it! Now I don't even remember the fucking dinosaurs' names anymore.
Brontosaurus or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's CGI too. But like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, where they're all is it Vegisaurus? It's a Vegisaurus. I mean, and that's just, Michael Crichton, whatever however you pronounce it.
yeah,
No, it's a great I mean, it's a great movie. It's directed, it was groundbreaking for
yeah. It's
things we've already said on this pod.
I kind of meshed it. It's kind of the old Spielberg with the
Yeah,
this. It's not sci-fi because dinosaurs existed, but it's kind of he.
sure.
But by the time this movie came around, he'd already made The Color Purple and Empire of the Sun, so he was trying to become more serious, and then I think he grew as a director. Obviously, naturally, as we all do, got a little older, matured a little more as a filmmaker, and then they were like, "Hey, freaking your major Peter Pan movie," because he had to go
Yeah.
back to Hook. But this
Hook.
was yeah. He had a. I think that's why I had it at 4. So
You got to be naturalistic. You got to
and
be
that's just
naturalistic as
me.
fuck. As yeah, as hell.
That's me.
You gotta know if there's shit on the
Some
toilet
nasty
bowl.
motherfucker put some
You know,
shit.
when you said naturalistic, that's the first thing that came to mind. You got to be
No,
naturalistic as hell. You got to
me.
know if some lowlife spurred shit all over the toilet bowl on the inside of one of the stalls, man.
I just listened to that the other day. My
Ah, pulp,
fucking hero. Just saying.
dude, it's fucking, fucking great. But yeah, no, I mean Jurassic Park. I don't think we have to deep dive too much into it.
No.
It, it's got some flaws in it as well, obviously. So the
Yeah.
Wayne Knight character is gonna the day that Richard Attenborough's character is going to bring his grandchildren on. That's the day, and the hurricane. It's a perfect storm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Exactly.
and he's going to shut off. He's going to shut off fucking fences of the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Raptors and everything just to make a couple $1 million. I mean, obviously, a couple $1 million is a lot of money, but
Hmm.
you couldn't just slip it in your pocket and then go back to work and wait until we had Dotson here. Dotson. This is Dotson. I would really appreciate if you wouldn't use my name.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. See,
It's
nobody
pretty
cares.
funny. Yeah,
Right.
I do get quite the kick out of that scene where he's like, Johnson, we got Johnson.
Dotson, we got Dotson here. See, nobody cares. And
Your
it's like,
your Seinfeld buddy. That's your Seinfeld buddy.
dude, yeah, of course, Newman. And it's rumored, I don't know if it's true, but like Steven Spielberg saw him in JFK and wanted him in that role. Like that
Oh
doesn't really
shit!
make a lot of sense. But
No, that's not that.
that's some of the research that I found is yeah, he watched him in JFK and was like, "Oh, he'd be perfect for this role as kind of the slimy bad guy, I guess." The really I
Right.
mean, who are the bad guys? You could say Richard Attenborough's character is the bad guy in Jurassic Park, right?
Oh,
Like
shit. Yeah, I guess. I
I
don't.
mean, he's the
Well,
catalyst for this whole thing. I mean, he's the
I
one who created it all.
suppose. I
He's a
think his.
digger.
Yeah.
He's like me. He's
Well,
a digger.
I think Richard Attenborough's. I don't think it was money was necessarily behind. I mean, it was part of it, but he wanted
Right.
people
It
to
was also wonder.
experience. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Good.
We could have a coupon day.
Oh yeah, because yeah, he was. I
The
can't remember what
salesman.
the actor's name was, but
Yeah.
he was the one that saw it as a fucking gold mine, and freaking
Yeah.
Richard Attenborough
He's
was like,
like,
"No,
oh
it's
yeah,
supposed to
yeah.
be for
He's like, no,
everybody."
everybody in the world should be able to experience this. Oh,
Yeah,
sure. Maybe we'll have a coupon day or something. And then I mean, there's just so many. I mean, we got to go through a couple real quick. Two things in my mind is the one where life happens
Jeff,
or life
Jeff
or what
Goldblum.
is it? God damn it.
Life finds a way.
Life finds a way.
Finds a way.
Right? And right, that's great. Family Guy did it perfectly. Okay. Anyway, all right, let's move on. We've talked about Jurassic Park enough. We
Yeah,
love that
yeah.
movie. It's an entertaining movie. We both love it very much. It's going at number 5 for Steven Spielberg though because we got some all-timers coming up here. So, at number 4, I had Raiders.
I mean, I had it at 3, so it's not like
Okay. So Raiders is going at 4 because
4.
I'm not allowing Saving Private Ryan to go less than 3.
Yeah, I hear you.
uh
And it's we just talked about in the intro how people have been marveled by this movie since its
yeah,
release, and it's
100%.
yeah, it's got every thrill, chill. Every scene has a little bit of thrill, chill, suspense, or action in one way or another. And how he's obviously we're on repeat mode, but Spielberg just
Yeah.
tells a brilliant story. And you got to mix
Yeah.
with the lighting, the editing, the special effects, and of course John Williams' iconic score. So
Iconic. And then the story by George Lucas. I mean, it
yep,
was really I mean, you put George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, and John Williams in a room, you're gonna get a
yeah,
fucking fantastic movie.
yeah, Harrison
And
Ford, and yeah, he was
oh
and
yeah, throw
he
yeah,
was a
exactly.
flawed human action hero too. So
Yeah.
it's yeah,
And he's I mean, we haven't talked really much we haven't talked that much about John Williams except in our intros, but I think a lot of people overlook the score in movies and how much it can change the entire dynamic of a movie. I mean, if it's a different orchestral sound, whether it's lighthearted or it could almost seem like satire at times. If he plays high notes and it's very serious at times. If it's low notes and I think you could almost go through any movie and if you play a different sound in a different orchestral setting, different score to the movie, the entire movie could change. I don't care what movie you're talking about. You
yes.
know, if you place a different score, if you play the Star Wars score over Schindler's List, I'm not crying at the end,
Well, of course not. Yeah, it's freaking
right?
yeah,
And I mean, John Williams is such an absolute legend
yeah.
in what he does and how many movies he's affected. I mean, it would be. I think he's won 5 Oscars, which doesn't even seem like enough, right?
No, not for the work that he's done. Pretty much in
I mean,
almost every Spielberg movie, and even yeah, the
Star Wars.
I mentioned the Patriot. I mean, yeah, he's JFK. He's got a pretty badass score in that one too.
I
So
mean, he's John Williams is such a for even for nonchalant people who don't know movies, you know, you've heard John Williams, right? I mean, I could go through Star Wars, Superman, War of the Worlds, like Return of the Jedi, obviously. He did all the Harry Potters, like
Oh, he did Home
Jaws,
Alone.
Superman 3.
It's a pretty brilliant movie.
It was a really underrated movie. Honestly.
Why does that sound familiar?
And like we just need to give him his flowers. So
Yeah,
I feel like we
watch.
did that now.
Yeah, watch his documentary on Disney Plus. It's pretty good.
Oh
He's got
shit.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Oh shit, your
No,
HBO
you
or
mentioned that to me the other day.
yeah, it's pretty
I'm
good.
writing it down right now though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna yeah. I mean, he's just I mean, any iconic score of your favorite movie, all those listeners out there, any score that you hear in your head when you think of a movie, when you watch a movie, I would bet 9 times out of 10, it's John Williams.
Well, and here's the thing: most people have one iconic score from
Yeah,
composers. John's got freaking
100.
a shit, yeah,
Like
100 of them. Yeah. So
it's yeah. Okay. All right. Well, moving on. So you had Raiders at 4.
I had it at 3, but
Oh, what did you have
you're
at
being
4
smart.
then?
I had Jurassic Park at 4.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, at no surprise, well, at my surprise, because I had Saving Private Ryan at 1.
Which is
We're
still
down.
crazy to me. It's insane, Jaren.
You're crazy. You're crazy. It's
You're a
fucking phenomenal. It's whatever.
it's
Whoever saw this, whoever saw Steven Spielberg podcast with the average jives had to know these two movies were going to be at least in the top 3.
yeah.
So I had Schindler at 2.
And of course, I had it at 1. You probably could have predicted that. Come on.
I knew it, but I
Yeah,
also I had Saving Private Ryan at 1. So
that shocked me. But yeah,
well, it was
here's
the most. I mean, okay, I'm not going to argue with
Schindler's,
you. I'm
yes.
not.
Saving
No, I'm
Private
not going
Ryan.
to argue.
Yeah, yeah. It's not the most.
Schindler's
Yeah.
is
Schindler's List.
definitely it's his
It's
best shot movie.
Schindler's List. Fucking is devastating, bro.
Well,
It's
and that's why I didn't have it at 1 because it's so depressing.
it's you just
I
can't.
mean,
You can't put it at the number 1 spot.
it's. I do think it is his masterpiece. I'm literally have been watching it this entire pod. It's on mute. It's on my
Me too.
TV,
Me too. You
and
know,
it's just so. I mean, it's so devastating, dude. If I wasn't on a podcast right now and I was watching it, I would probably be crying because right now they're going down the lists. It's just, I mean, it's so devastating. But it is. I mean, it's close up shots on s- several different Jews' faces, and how they're speaking, and then how Spielberg is able to also take wide shots of massacres and of horrible things that are. That's how the Germans were viewing this. They
yeah,
were an arm's length away, and it wasn't personal to them. It was these people have to die because they're a detriment to society. I mean, it's such a sad fucking movie, but it needed to be made,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
it
Sid
wasn't
Seinberg.
Scorsese supposed to do this movie,
Yeah, he was supposed to. Well, Sid Seinberg. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. But he ran Universal, and he found the book and gave it to Spielberg and told him that this was the movie you were meant to make. But then he didn't think he was ready. He took some time off, made some other movies, and I think by the time the studio was ready to make it, they were like, "All right, we got to make this movie." So I think they did
right?
offer it to Scorsese at one point, and
And then they like
Spielberg was supposed to make Cape Fear, but then
that's right.
they just
They
swapped movies.
switched.
Yeah,
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 they traded, which is absolutely 100% how it should have been.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, a lot of times we could go through and, oh, well, Scorsese is supposed to have directed this and then somebody else, or, how Tarantino was, you know, wrote True Romance and was going to direct it, but gave it to Scott.
yeah, yeah. Tony
And then
Scott.
in exchange, I forget the film that he exchanged it for.
Natural Born Killers, or
Natural Born Killers. No, because Tarantino didn't do that. But how in Hollywood, that's how it happens, right?
well,
It's
yeah,
like, well,
that's
this
true. Yeah,
person is signed on to direct, but then they trade. this is the ultimate. I mean, if I love Scorsese, but he should not and could not have done Schindler's
No,
List.
yeah, and
I
we
mean, it
mentioned,
needed to be Spielberg.
yeah, and we kind of talked about it. I don't know if we did it off air or not, but how just like Scorsese could have, and it would have been like okay. Just like
Sure,
Spielberg probably could have made Goodfellas, and it would have been okay. But like
sure.
they're not.
They would have
Yeah,
been much different movies.
yeah, exactly, and it's a culture thing. It's not necessarily a
Yeah.
freaking
And that's,
film.
I mean,
Film.
that's where it comes to. It's, an Italian Catholic doing Schindler's List.
Yeah,
It was just, I mean, yeah, I mean, and then they would have had, he probably would have had Germans doing coke in a couple of scenes, and
yeah, something meth. Yeah, some type of methamphetamine or something. Yeah, I don't. But the whole. I'm just gonna break down Jaws and Schindler's List and why I had them at 1 and 2 because
yeah, no, hit it. Come
a
on.
lot of people could have probably put Jaws at 1. Most people probably would actually. And one of the things that I think the movie did was show Spielberg's true genius because, like I said, the shark didn't work, but they had to fucking film something. So it showed how
Exactly.
spontaneous he could be as a filmmaker. And yeah, he did storyboard everything, but without the shark, you're like, okay, maybe we can use these barrels, and the barrels will be a shark. I mean, that's fucking genius, right? That's
Oh,
not,
it was fucking great, dude.
yeah, and that's why, and not only, but it was like the highest grossing movie of all time at one
It
point.
was.
But
And
yeah,
it was a phenomenon because they released it in the summer and movies didn't come out in the summer before then. There were
right.
no summer blockbusters. The blockbusters came in the spring and
Well,
the
they're
fall.
yeah, yeah,
And because kids were out and about playing, right? Families were out at the lake. Families were celebrating outside. They were going outside. They weren't bringing people into a dark movie theater until Jaws happened. And
right,
Jaws was released in the summer, and it changed the entire game of
right.
Hollywood and summer blockbusters.
Hmm.
And I mean, it's historical for the suspense that it gave. John Williams' score, obviously, we've talked about that. And yeah, the suspense that you're not going to see the shark until, and Roy Scheider and Dreyfus and
Shaw, yeah,
yeah, and Robert Shaw's performances were outstanding, right?
yes,
And they really lead. They carry the movie the entire time, and it's such a fun movie, man. Like I mean, I think obviously it was the first kind of gory or bloody or violent movie that Spielberg did, because previous to this it was American Graffiti and kind of fanciful, and then
well,
the first scene in Jaws is like there's so much blood.
yeah.
Like
I mean, Spielberg only made two different. He made a made for TV movie called Duel first, and then he made Sugarland Express with Ben
yeah.
Johnson
Yeah, yeah,
early
exactly.
on. That's not really, yeah, that's
Right.
not Jaws. Let's put it that way. But
Yeah,
Sid Steinberg again, he saw something in him that was his boy, so he
for
freaking
sure.
gave him Jaws, and yeah, it truly, yeah, it is a masterpiece. But we talked about it with Silence of the Lambs the other day. It's in the end, the movie's about a giant killer shark, so that's why people
Yeah.
are like, well, we can't put that as one of the greatest movies. Let's put it in the top 20, but we
Yeah.
can't put it in the top five. Which I think I'm that's kind of a ridiculous take. I still think Jaws is one of the greats, obviously, and then with
I
Schindler's
completely
List,
agree.
yeah, we'll jump to Schindler's List. It had it's another example of what a genius Spielberg is, but he didn't storyboard anything in that movie.
Right.
Everything was spontaneous and freaking he was doing a lot of the camera work himself. Everything was the exterior shots were all handheld
Yep.
and the interior were all steady cam and the interior obviously beautifully lit. Like yeah, it's just it's like you said, it's a devastating movie. It's
It
depressing, but
is. It's so.
I'm
I mean, and the fact that it's shot in black and white for anybody who
yeah,
hasn't seen Schindler's List, if you're going to watch it, honestly, it's a very powerful, very moving movie. Devastating, as you said too. But the fact that it is shot in black and white, I think it adds. It would not have had the same effect had it been shot in color.
Yeah, and one of the reasons he shot it in black and white, because one, it was really violent, but two, most World War II footage was black and white. So
Well,
it's
that's what I
yeah,
was going to bring up too. It's relevant to the time of which the movie takes place. It is black and white because that's what film was back in the
mhm,
40s. Like it was black and white. You weren't going to see color, TV, color films, color anything, color pictures. It was black and white, and it really hits home. It makes it so realistic.
right.
Well, yeah, but so Schindler's. Well, I mean, do you have more of the production? Do you have more of anything
Well,
you'd like to share?
I mean, I know that. I mean, every aspect of Schindler's List is great in my opinion, but I
Yeah,
think
100%.
The Spielberg touch was that uh,
A Jew.
he was directing the actors in great detail. Like he
Yeah,
was, I know Liam Neeson had, when they first started filming, Liam Neeson had a big problem with how Spielberg was like basically telling him how to breathe. Like he wanted
yeah,
him to light his cigarette just a particular way, and
yeah,
freaking he would put it in. He's like, no, dude, that's too fast. And Liam
yeah.
Neeson's like, dude, I've been smoking for 20 years, man. I am not holding the cigarette like that. But then when you see it on screen, you're like, holy shit, that's fucking beautiful. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And the movie's a dark movie, obviously, but there is a
obviously
certain beauty to it,
there is.
as depressing
And
as
no, yeah, and not the sense that people normally think of beauty, but it's
yeah,
shot incredibly well.
yeah, and that's what I mean. Spielberg has said it in documentaries about like who's the best lit, who looks the best. Ralph Fiennes.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, he looks. I mean,
Rafe,
Rafe.
fine.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, Rafe Fiennes.
Well, I mean, no, there are scenes where you don't even really see the top of people's faces, right? Because Spielberg has, and that goes to the cinematographer as well. And I don't know who shot the film.
Giannis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Janusz Kaminski,
I think that was his first movie with Spielberg actually.
Janusz. Yeah,
Janusz. Yeah.
and it was yeah, and they have certain lighting on certain faces where you only see half a face, and that could speak to more themes of the good and evil because there are times, and I'm watching a scene right now with Liam Neeson. Half of his face is lit, half of his face is in
Yeah.
shadows,
It's
and it's
the
really the good and the
a
evil.
metaphor. Yeah. It's the
Exactly.
duality.
It's
Yeah.
he,
Yeah.
yeah, the 100%. Oh, duality. What a great word for this entire movie,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what
That's
that's what it is. It's good and evil. It's
yeah.
you
Because I
have
mean, he's
to.
hanging out
There's
with
a
these terrible
Yeah.
people,
There's a
making money
fine
off of
line,
it.
right? Between there's a fine line between you know communicating and hanging out with these people, but also doing some good. But in order to do some good, you have to tiptoe into evil. We needed to pick it up after the Schindler's
Yeah.
List. Okay, enough about Schindler's. I love that movie. It's gonna be at number one. But what do you have to say about Jaws? I mean, Jaws is number two.
I mean, I kind of went over it a little.
We already went through it a little bit.
Yeah, and probably
But I
one
mean,
of the
it's
movies
just
I've watched. It's one of the most rewatched movies of mine. It's one of the movies that made me love movies because I was
yeah,
blown away by it even at 10 years old. I was like, this is like the greatest thing I've ever seen. And then I got really fascinated with sharks. Similar to
yeah,
dinosaurs, I don't think I can name all the sharks anymore, but
yeah.
I was very interested and I
Tiger
wanted
Head.
I still like if there's still a Jaws documentary that come out, I watch it every freaking time. So I'm
Well,
still
and isn't it a part of the Netflix series, The Movies That Made Us?
probably I would say
I think it's one of the episodes of Jaws because it is one of the movies that made us. I touched on it earlier with the summer blockbuster, and Steven Spielberg was infamously a hard director. I'll put it that way, right? Like some of the cast members wanted to revolt.
well for like
there was
Jaws.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a story in an article that I read where all the cast members were planning to throw him into the ocean on the last day of shooting, and
So we left early.
he heard about it, and he did not show up to the last day of shooting. And I mean, it's things like that to where I mean, that's what good directors do, right? They're meticulous. They're like you just talked about during Schindler's List. You know, he was directing Liam Neeson how he should breathe, how he should light a cigarette. It's almost, it's not quite David Fincher esque, right?
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
David
He doesn't.
Fincher is so meticulous, but it was really, hey, this is how I vision the movie. This is how I vision that character doing these things. And people just don't like that sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Actors have their own egos where no, this is my vision of how my character would. But the director sees it as no, it's my fucking movie.
Right. And
And this
yeah.
is how I vision the character doing this. So there is always that. So yeah, no, I always got a kick out of that story where they were planning on throwing Steven Spielberg into the ocean as a joke, and he heard about it, so he didn't show up for the last day of shooting.
Well, and here's the thing is that he does that for every movie now. He never shoots the last scene of the
The
movie.
last thing
The last
that's
he
and
never
that's
shoots.
probably why because people
Yep.
are fucking sick of it. But I mean, he makes great movies. We just went through we just went through a top 10 of Spielberg movies. I guarantee all 10 of these are in the top 50 all time movies. Maybe not
Yeah.
Catch Me If You Can,
No.
Minority Report,
Final Report,
but
Munich. Most people haven't seen Munich, actually, as disappointing as that is. But
yeah. Well, I hope they listen to this and then they watch Munich. But yeah, and then real quick, a couple things about Jaws. In the research is it's rumored and it's been written about how Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss had this huge kind of animosity
feud,
toward each other
they
and a
didn't.
rivalry,
Yeah, they
um,
didn't like each other very much. Yeah.
but they also had a mutual respect for one another, where they respected each other's acting careers. And I think that's competitiveness, right? You see that in the NFL. You see that in the
Yeah.
NBA,
Yeah.
right? Like there's a defensive player, a safety who hates a wide receiver, but
Yeah.
and they're going to talk shit to each other in the media, but when they get on the field, yeah, they're going to go one on one, 100% against each other, but at the end of the day they shake their hands and they hug each other. They might swap jerseys nowadays, right? Like that's a
Yeah.
big thing. And that was really, but there's a story where Robert Shaw tried to talk Richard Dreyfuss into jumping off of the top of the ship. I forget what it's called, the crow's nest.
The Orca. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, and Steven Spielberg put a stop to it because Dreyfuss could have actually injured himself doing this.
Right. Right.
And yeah, and then Robert Shaw, famously one of the best drinkers of the world, was constantly drunk on film or on set, and would obviously provoke Richard Dreyfuss into doing all this. But Jaws, and then the last thing I have to say, the the dolly shot of the going into Roy Scheider's face, but also zooming out.
Oh yeah, the Vertigo sent the
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a iconic shot. So
They
we
kind
can't
of do
get
it in
through
Heat.
this.
Yeah, they do
We,
it in
we
Heat a
can't get
little
through this.
slow mo, but still.
Right. Right. We couldn't get through this pod without me at least mentioning that. So yeah, damn, what a conversation. We're at it 2 hours here, so let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
Any last words on Jaws or Schindler's, Zach?
Nope. I got it covered. I got my notes covered. So
Yeah, I have a couple of Jaws notes, but we're already at 2 hours, so we're gonna get through this. All right, so the finality of the podcast, as always, we're gonna recap the top 10 here, and then Zach may or may not let us know what we're gonna do for the next pod. So at Steven Spielberg, best movies of all time. At number 10, we have Catch Me If You Can. At number 9, Minority Report. At number 8, E.T., the extraterrestrial. At number 7, Munich. Number 6, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Number 5, Jurassic Park. Raiders of the Lost Ark coming in at number 4. Saving Private Ryan, unfortunately, at number 3. And Jaws at number 2 with the terrific, horrific, mind bending, sad movie, but also powerful movie, Schindler's List at number 1.
mm-hmm.
How do you
Sounds like a
how do you
good
feel
division.
about how do you feel about our rankings?
uh
I think it's.
I mean,
It's
no,
spot
dude,
on.
it's good. It's good. Yeah. I
Um,
mean, dude, these, like you said, they're all good movies. They're all great movies, even.
I
So,
mean, it's Steven Spielberg we're talking about. So,
yeah.
well, all right, Zach, are you gonna give us a teaser for what we
Yes.
have
Since
releasing next?
you mentioned sleepers, so I mean,
Ooh, I did.
yeah,
Oh, I already gave it
you
away. You're
mentioned, yeah,
right.
yeah. Well, don't worry about it. But yeah, since it'll be this one will be released, and then the Epics one where you'll barely be able to hear my voice, but then
Mm.
the following will be Brad Pitt stains. So we'll get that covered. Yeah,
Brad Pitt, top 10.
yeah,
I'm very excited to see if anybody comments. Well, I'm always excited to see if anybody comments, but I'm excited to see. We have our five. I have my five. Zach has his five of Brad Pitt's. There were certain parameters, so don't expect to
yeah.
see The Big Short. Don't
Mm-hmm.
expect to see True Romance. Um,
Right. Yeah.
but Brad Pitt, one of the good actors of our generation. That'll be our next pod.
Yes. Yes. Plenty more to
Okay.
come. So
And then, as always, please follow us on Spotify. Give us a like on Facebook. Anything you could do if you want to listen to us, please listen to us. Put us in the background and just let it go and not listen. That's fine. It helps us. It helps us gain traction. Zach and I love doing this thing, and we're doing it. Well, honestly, we're doing it for one another, but we're also doing it for you guys.
for one another. That's true. That's true. It's fun.
But we're
It's a good.
also doing it for you guys.
It's true. We've introduced some movies to some good people out there. So
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We like to think we don't know what we're talking about, but we have fun doing it.
yeah, yeah. All right, Jaaron. Is that all?
All
Is
right.
that all we got? All
The Average Jives signing out for another podcast.
right. Later, everybody.
Wrap. It's a wrap. Come back tomorrow. Fuck.